of Darcelle on Life, Love, and Dying, which is a little bit of a biopic about Portland's very famous drag queen, Darcelle 15, who just passed away in 2023. And this is a piece that we were able to film in the year before Darcelle passed away. And it's a lovely tribute to an incredible life, and I hope that you'll enjoy the film.
Darcelle has always said to me, I will die here. You come out, you pick me up off that stage, you put me backstage, and the show goes on.
Please give it up for the bold, the blonde, the beautiful, the wild, the wicked, and the wonderful, the producer and the star of our show. She is the Guinness World Record holder, oldest working drag queen in the entire world.
He's going to die soon. We know that. If it's 5 years, it's going to happen. You know, there's a tear inside already. I know it.
You know, it's very sad to me to see him slowing down, to see him not be his full vivacious self.
Here's my famous hat.
Yep.
I get it.
I know, I was just thinking that I handed you wrong. I'm sorry.
Darcelle.
I think that people need to be here for him as Walter, not just Darcelle. Walter, to me, is a honest, hardworking, loving man. He's a man. He's just like anyone else.
It's a wacky question, but it's a good question. For me, there's Darcelle. For me, there's only Darcelle. There is a Walter to me, and it's somebody that I didn't really know. Like, before me is Walter, and once I met him, now it's just Darcelle.
When he's with family, you know, he's my dad. And when he's on stage, yeah, he's my dad, but he belongs to everyone when he's on stage. He's not just my dad. I share him with everyone at that point.
There isn't another person. It's Darcelle. And yes, it's Walter, but it's not. To me, that's one person, and that person is Darcelle.
We're kind of much together, very much together.
Darcelle's a persona. Entertainment, the other side of Walter. You know, you turn this way, you're one, you turn this way, you're the other, and then they meet in the middle. You know, it changes so fast. Darcelle is extravagant, glamorous, beautiful, and wise. That's how I think.
He had a separation of who Darcelle was and who Walter was, because he has children, right? He still is married to his wife. So you've got this whole thing where after all those years, though, it fuses in because you're doing 6 shows a week. So after a while, you become Darcelle.
Not bad. Not bad.
My mom never talked about it. My dad never talked about it. Probably my earliest memory would be 1976. We had gone down, my mom and I had gone down to Saturday Market, and we were shopping around, and lo and behold, we ran into my dad and Roxy. His lifestyle and his situation compared to my suburban lifestyle just wasn't a good idea in those days to mix it together. We knew that they loved us, and we, you know, all I could do was, you know, be sad when I'd come home and my mom was crying, you know.
I never grew up with a father, so I always said, you know, he's kind of been a father figure, because I literally was 18 the first time I met him. He literally, you know, practically raised me from a young teenager to the man I am today. I learned from Darcelle to not limit myself.
He's the oldest business that's still surviving down here that's really anchored this community. Do you know the performers that have been there, the performers that have died of AIDS? It wasn't just a white club. And I honor Walter for that.
The 80s was the beginning of the AIDS epidemic. So we were not welcome in most of the places. They knew we were carriers or whatever. They don't know what that was. In fact, never went out the door with my costume on. Always stayed inside.
Literally the entire drag community got wiped out and had to be rebuilt. The thing also, I believe, and Darcelle and I have never talked about this, but there's some survivor's guilt. Like, we're so thankful for the lives we have and the careers we've had, but we feel so guilty. Our friends that could have shined brighter than us got snuffed out.
It's hard to talk about. To this day, my friends were dying, withering away, and just dead. 20, 25, 30. Didn't matter what's your age.
Like I said, you're not old until you're 100. So that lady better last. That's just the way it is.
I guess what I'm trying to tell you is that I have felt like, because of the way things were, I wasn't able to be as proud of him. And over the course of the last maybe 10 years, I've just made up for it. I tell him whenever I can how proud I am, how creative he is, how talented he is, what he's done for people in the community. And I'm like his number one supporter, and then every opportunity, like I said, every opportunity, I'm like, oh, that's my dad. So, I've made up for it.
My daughter, everybody, my daughter.
Can you send it to me? Wait a minute.
He loves knowing that is his legacy, part of it, that he did a good job as a dad. There were some sticky parts in their relationship, like we all went through, I don't care who you are, you'll always have a problem with your parents.
This pretty chair? Okay. She wants to sit on the pretty chair. The last few years have been kind of nice, only because I've had him to myself. It's kind of the little girl in me going, I have you by myself now. But yeah, I think basically I'm so used to sharing him with his public that the time that I get with him and just him is precious, really precious at this point.
My kids love me. My friends, they're involved with me, and I couldn't be happier, and I wouldn't change one thing in my life. Give it to me. Not one thing.
It's dirt. Yeah. That's yucky. Second rule.
It was not that under 5 minutes. I've done it, and if anything that I've collected for stuff and things, and my precious possessions are with people who hug me.
Yeah, Walter and Roxy were together. It had to be 50 years.
He died on a Saturday, and he got in the car, and I got in the driver's seat. I got to the driver's seat, and he coughed twice and was dead.
They were together for a long time, and they still are. They are still together. They're connected.
Yeah, I miss him terribly. I miss I have total wonderful friends, but it's just not the same. I said to him, and I said, well, if you go to heaven, save me a seat. If you go to down below, never mind. The nurses cracked up. That's how we talk to each other.
I'm very, very happy. Stay safe, stay well, and by all means, my friends, stay in love. Thank you. I run through my signature song right now, a little song for lovers and everyone. Say love, it is a river that drowns the tender reed.
You look at the stage and you see her come out, brave, beautiful, just beautiful. And you forget everything, especially during the rose. I think that's a time when she sings the rose that my heart just sings. And it's for Roxy. There's still a love there for Roxy, but it's also for every broken heart that's ever entered there.
It's the one who won't be taken.
We were in New York about 4 years ago, and we were at the Today Show, and we were just standing there, and I don't even know, we hadn't even started yet, and I don't even know why he brought it up, but he just kind of looked at me and he goes, "I'm not afraid to die." And he looks around New York, and I'm going to miss this, but I'm not afraid to die. Because there's a lot of people, my friends, that have passed away in front of me, and if they can do it, I can do it. And I just said, I'm glad I heard that, because that gives me peace that when the day does come, I know he's not afraid.
Oh no, no, me? No, I'm not scared about dying. The people I've loved over the years have died. If they can do it, I can do it.
Good night, Roxy. Love you guys. Thank you very much.
So here's the story. Here at Darcelle 15 and Company, we don't mourn, we celebrate. We are celebrating the life of our dear Darcelle 15, 92 years old. Yes! Never was a life more well lived than our dear friends. That's what we're doing here, and tonight we are celebrating. This week, we all that work here, we got to hold hands and kiss and be with our dear Darcelle on her last week on Earth, and she said to me, "Poison, be kind." She said, "Keep this going." So we're all here to keep this going.
Darcelle on Life, Love, and Dying. Darcelle is a drag performer, and you get to see the two sides of her intersect. Darcelle is the performer, Walter the man. With Darcelle, you have this extravagant personality and performer. With Walter, you have the man, the father, the husband. And you're seeing this as a beautiful documentation of his life, the relationships that he's had with those that he's helped within his community, those who how his family views him. And you see the juxtaposition between the two and how he's had to toe this line his whole life. It's really beautiful to see this dynamic because it's not a dynamic that I've seen as of yet. And, you know, I do watch a lot of shows that are centered around this community, whether it be Drag Race and things of that nature. But it's very interesting to see sort of this is a man, a husband, a father aspect, but also in the same sense, he is a member of this community. And it was very interesting to just see how several people can be talking about the same person and can all have very different perceptions of them. It was just a beautiful dynamic to partake in.
Considering Darcelle died within the last couple of weeks, this is a moving tribute to him. It shows who he was as a person, that he even has a kid who's proud of him. It also goes through his words, showing what it's like for an elderly person up in age when they're coming close to death, when they've seen their friends dying. A lot of times those of us who are younger are saddened by it, but it's good to hear that someone who is up in age is telling us that they're ready for it. It's something that's kind of refreshing to hear, and like his daughter said, puts you at peace because they know of it. He sounded like he had a great sense of humor, that his whole family struggled, but it is what put food on the table. And it was something that his daughter had to learn to accept. But that he was one of the first and oldest performing drag queens, which is always a great form of adult entertainment. And that he was one of the ones that brought it to be what it was, for adults to go in and enjoy something that's kid-free and lovely, and that we all enjoyed laughing at, and he brought it, and this was a great tribute to him. And I think right now it would have major views just because he did just recently die.
Darcelle, a lovely introspective look into the celebration of a life brilliantly and iconically lived. Someone who marched to the beat of their own drum, and the cast of loved ones surrounding them in that. I just thought it was so well done. I loved getting to hear the family and the friends' experience of Frank or Darcelle, or both. And there was just some really lovely cinematography as well that felt intimate, but also deliberate. There's also that element of show and of the fantasy. But then we got very, very close, and got to hear about the history of how this person and how Darcelle came to be. It was really lovely, very moving.
I thought this was a really interesting documentary with a really unique perspective, and I thought everyone's understanding of Darcelle as a person and as a character was really interesting, and it just showed the complexity of character, and it was really great to be able to watch this in a documentary form. It definitely gave a greater appreciation for the art form and the struggles of the performers.
This film is called Darcelle on Life, Loving, and Dying. This was a sweet, sentimental LGBTQ short. I loved meeting Darcelle, the oldest working drag queen in the world. I adored Darcelle's wardrobe, makeup, and hair. The interviews of the man named Walter, who is also Darcelle, were absolutely wonderful, as were the interviews of his family and friends. I really enjoyed his comments about how much he has enjoyed life and how he does not fear death, as many of his friends have died. Lovely, gentle soundtrack under the interviews. It was also a lot of fun to see the footage of Darcelle's drag show and hearing the excited audience. Well done, film.
Darcelle on Life, Love, and Dying. This was such a beautiful film. It really was. I think that the filmmakers did this so incredibly well, starting with their cinematography was right on the money. They did a beautiful job with the lighting and the sound. There wasn't any sort of technical hiccups or issues. I also loved the interviews. I loved learning about Walter and Darcelle, seeing the impact that they had on all of these people, as well as the community. I learned a lot, like the history of having this go all the way back to the 80s. And that was stuff that was really cool to know. It was fun to learn about it. It was also so sad to hear about how when the AIDS pandemic came and all of the friends that they lost. But ultimately, the filmmakers did justice to this and did such a fantastic job. I loved it.
The title pretty much hits the nail on the head here. Life, love, death. The show must go on. Darcelle / Walter has lived a full life. You see those surround him in the entertainment industry, and you dive in and you see that he is just an extravagant performer, dives into drag history in the 70s, the digital photo album of earlier days, and it dives into these idealisms of a father figure, coping with the concept of death at a young age. As many people died in their early 20s, I can only presume from possibly the HIV/AIDS epidemic, living life with no regrets, and people's precious possessions are the people that surround yourself with and love. Being not afraid to die, having the peace with that. The end credit sequence is simple but elegant. The sparkling walker shows so much without saying anything at all, showing the energy that Darcelle carries in a room, a good base of family and friends to come together to capture the impact that this person has made within their family, friends, and community. Not only has Darcelle, the performer, but Walter, the man behind the drag as well.